I just realized today is my grandma's birthday. I haven't really talked about her or talked to her in many, many years just because it's been complicated. Like, she gets mad at me for weird reasons and pops in at odd times. Like, she's not telling me the whole story of stuff. I'm thinking about her because today's her birthday, and she told me a little bit about her family, her brothers and sisters. And she told me how she has a brother named Felix and he lives in California. I don't know where in California. It makes me think of this one time I met this hella older ass guy, older than my dad, looked to be about the same age as the co-signer of my art school student loans. And I told him I was an artist. I had a couple of paintings at the time, and I went to an art show that he put together or whatever in San Francisco. And he was hitting on me, and I got uncomfortable. And so I just started ignoring his text messages. And there was this one time or one period in my life when I was hooking up with a bartender. And then there was one morning after I stayed the night at his place, my grandma was calling me. And it was just like really weird timing. And I'm like, is there some like weird shit going on around me in my family that I am not aware of, that everyone else is aware of? And I remember this one time my dad was talking about you need to read between the lines. I have ADHD. I might even be autistic. I don't know how to fucking do that. Like when I tell people things, I mean what I say and I say what I mean, and I don't mean anything outside of that. And it's really hard because like sometimes people will ask me like what do you mean by that? And I'm like, I'm nothing. It's what it is what it is. And I'm not I'm also very direct with my communication too. Like I don't sugarcoat anything, and I express myself very directly when it comes to my feelings about people. If I don't like you, like it's going to be obvious. If I feel uncomfortable around you, it's going to be obvious. If I do feel comfortable around you, you're going to know. And if I like you, I'm not going to play games and act like I don't really like you when I really do. I'm going to tell you. And if you are giving me signs that you're not interested, I'm going to back off. And if you flirt with people, I'm going to assume you're not interested. And so it's stuff like that. And, I've been watching The Real World nonstop the last week or so, just catching up on all the seasons. There's a few seasons that I need to rewatch because I just had it playing in the background and stuff. But I see like the relationship dynamics and how people will pretend like, and it's all high school stuff, like people pretending that they don't like someone when they really do, or keeping someone on hold. Like people will be in long distance relationships but be physically involved with somebody in the house. And like sometimes I think about some of the people I've met and even like my current situation, and I'm like, do these people think they're in a reality show, or are they trying to copy people that they see in the real world because they don't know who they are and what they want and how to act and be? And it's just crazy. And then I've been thinking about like sometimes the bartender guy is on my mind a lot because I don't get intimate with just anybody. Like sex is kind of a big deal to me. And So I was never shy about like expressing my feelings for him and telling him how I felt. Like he knew how I felt and stuff. And I didn't care if I sounded crazy or not, because if he doesn't feel the same way, I would rather just be rejected and move on with my life than like, keep playing mind games for like years and then it never leads to anything. Like, if you like me, spend time with me. And if you don't, then just fuck off. And so, we've had like a few strange nights, and I do believe, looking back at it now, that he was like drugging me, and that's why he never had the same feelings as me. And our situationship reminds me a lot of the Las Vegas season with the guy and the girl, and they had like a pregnancy scare and all that shit. And it was just like kind of bizarre how fast they hooked up, and how hung up she was on him, because she was far more attractive than he was. And there was a guy in the house that was a much better match for her. Like, they were both from small towns, and they both get involved like so intensely. But I have a feeling that guy like slipped her drugs, and that's why she was so hung up on him. Cause like she straight up made out with him like the first night they were partying, and initially it didn't seem like she was interested in him at all. And then she like developed bulimia and was getting depressed because he wanted to see other girls. And she is so hot, like so much hotter than he deserves. And I know that they probably made that whole situation happen just for, the views and the ratings, because drama is so interesting. But but it was such a revelation. Like, holy fuck. And I wonder if maybe I had paid attention, actually watched The Real World when it was out. Maybe I wouldn't have acted the way I did in the past. But then again, like, alcohol and drugs, especially if it's unsolicited drugs, like drugs you did not ask for, you can't really control those types of situations. And so I feel like I should give myself some grace for the way I acted in the past. And, I don't care if he denies it or hears back that I feel this way or whatever. But, you know, looking back at it now, it's like, why was I like, it did not make sense that I was that into him and that I had such strong feelings for him to such a intense degree, when all he wanted to do was just sleep with me. And he did try to you know make it work, but I did not like how he approached our relationship. Like, he was being very sneaky. He got another woman pregnant, did not let me know until after his children were born, because he had twins. And when I found out, I was so depressed, and I was like, I'm not messing with this guy anymore. Lo and behold, I was still doing that, still had strong feelings for him. And then I eventually had to like distance myself completely. And I kind of freaked him out when I told him how I felt, which was kind of a good thing in hindsight, because then he got freaked out and kind of pushed me away too. So, yeah, it's a lot of stuff on my mind. I wish people were more direct, because I do not work with this read in between the lines type shit. Like, it does not work with my ADHD at all.